What's going on, everybody? It is a beautiful Tuesday evening. I am Jeff. She is Marnie. We read books, and that's why we're here. As you can see behind her, she's read a few more than I have. I just realized kind of like, really? Like, you've got all those books behind you, and I've got like 7.
Well, your books are very specific too, though, for like business and growing your mind and stuff. Mine are entertainment. It's a little different.
Yeah, but still, I need to get caught up.
Okay.
I do have
Twice
like
as
4 or
much.
5 of them that are not up there, but those are the prime ones that I look for business. I did finish reading Create, Don't Capture by Eric Thanes.
Yeah.
I haven't promoted it yet because it's not out to the public.
Right. Right.
But I did speak with him. I'm going to write a review on it for him. I thought it was a really good book.
Yeah.
And I'll be taking
Been
some of
raving
what I
about
learned
it.
and teaching it to the inner circle and the Hacker Nation in future trainings. So it's pretty good stuff. But today we are diving into Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, chapter 6, the title being Imagination.
Yeah.
And initially, like before I even started reading the chapter, I remember back in the day where like when we were kids, they would tell you, you can be anything. So when they asked you what you wanted to do when you grow up, you would dig into your imagination and you would say an astronaut or a police
One of my
officer or a
sisters was
soldier.
real sure she was going to be a My Little Pony.
Hey,
They said
if it's in
anything.
your imagination. The problem today is like our society frowns on imagination.
Yeah, it does.
It's like they
Frowns
look
on
down on
critical
you. They
thinking.
call you crazy, and yeah.
Very important things that are frowned upon that
So,
shouldn't be.
but we are talking about imagination today, and there are quite a few good points. I do love the story that he told about Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It basically
That's pretty cool.
started with $500 and an imagination of what he thought the company could become, and it's
Yeah.
worldwide. It's almost universal. It's like crazy.
I mean, they're one of the most powerful corporations on the planet today.
Yeah, $500, an old wooden pot, and a recipe
Right.
by a doctor. Because
Yeah.
like I didn't dig deep into the history of Coca-Cola, but wasn't it originally like a formula to like for like the cold or migraines or
Yeah. I
something?
mean, it had cocaine in it. I don't remember exactly what it was supposed to be curative for, but the doctor that invented it was trying to invent a cure for something and just was like, this is pretty tasty, but I don't know what to do about it. And he went and sold it to the drugstore clerk for $500.
Yeah, if you're
As
watching on
one
the
of the
live or
most
on the replay, if you have any idea what Coca-Cola was originally invented for, like
right.
what medical purpose was it used
Throw it
for,
out there
then
for funds.
I
Yeah.
am curious to know. Um, I would think it'd be like a painkiller maybe if it had cocaine in it.
That might be.
It's
It might
like
have been for like migraines or something. I don't
yeah.
specifically. That does sound. I don't remember. I know it's still
Yeah.
one of the most closely guarded recipes on the planet. I think only 3 people know it, and they're not allowed to travel at the same time, just in case. Might even be 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, it reminds me of like Jack Daniels, which is one of my
Mm.
favorite whiskeys to drink. Um, during Prohibition, they were like the only distillery to allow to continue to function
Yeah.
because they marketed it as like a cure for a
Disinfectant or
cold.
something, right?
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Um, I think it works for a cold. I mean, usually when I have hot toddies, it works pretty damn good. So
Scientifically speaking, whiskey is antibacterial. So if it's anything in you related to bacteria, whiskey actually will help you kill it off.
there you go.
You know, you still have to fight all of the, hangover stuff. But another weird one is chicken noodle soup has also been proven to help fight colds.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've known that
Like
one since we were
scientifically,
children.
yes.
And for some reason, ginger ale.
Right. That
right?
settles your it's because ginger settles your tummy.
Ah,
I'm 100% convinced.
ah, the more you know.
The more you know.
Crazy. All right. So, but all of these companies we're talking about all
Yeah.
came from the imagination,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This isn't common stuff that everybody knew beforehand. It's just an imagination and what it could be.
Yep. Had
Um,
an idea and that turned into Coca-Cola.
so early in the chapter, he's got a quote. I think this is like one of the first sentences. Says, "Man's only limitation within reason lies in his development and use of his imagination."
Yeah.
We use our imagination all the time,
Yeah.
right? When we're trying to create products and get individuals to join our team or our company or our brand, we need to feed into their imagination, right? With any
Right.
type of brand building, like if you're a digital marketing company, your job is to feed people's imagination,
Yeah. You want to
right?
inspire them. That's another way you can
Absolutely.
phrase it.
When you hear about somebody's problem and you have a solution, you are asking them to use their imagination of having of a future self being clear of whatever the problem is,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Right.
um so yeah, there's two different, he mentions two different kinds of imagination, and
Hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong on these. So the first one is synthetic imagination. I know the names are right, but I'm gonna interpret them.
Okay.
So synthetic imagination is creating new combinations through what you have already learned. So to put that into today's world, in my mind, that means taking what I know and then
Hmm.
using my imagination as far as where we can go with it, like the Two Comma Club,
Hmm.
right? Like nobody's ever made $1 million creating a sports media program that's not a university,
Right.
right? There are
Right.
no programs out there like mine. I've done the research.
Yep.
Like, so the fact that I've taken what I've known in the sports world,
Hmm.
sports media world, and in the marketing world and saw them working together,
Yeah.
that takes quite an imagination because nobody else has done this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I'm either just really brilliant or I'm freaking insane. But the other, but I mean, there's a reason why we're called the crazy ones. Because every time we come up with an idea that we can clearly see in our mind working out, people tell us that we're crazy, right?
Hmm.
Going all the way back to flight, right? The
Yeah.
Wright brothers,
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
No way. First off, even if I thought that what they could do, what they said they could do would happen,
Right.
I'm not going to be the first person on the plane,
Right.
right? But their imagination said that they could and that they trusted
Yeah.
it. And
They
like,
went with it.
there were no like um crash pads or anything on those
Mm-mm.
planes. They were just wood and fabric,
Yep.
you know?
There's lots of video out there of early versions crashing into the
There's
ground.
no airbags, side or other.
Yeah.
But because they used their imagination, they said it could work and it would build over time. So you need to have your imagination as an entrepreneur, because if you can't see the possibilities,
Yeah.
what are you getting out of bed for?
So yeah,
Right?
I agree. The structured imagination is building off of what you already know, turning it. Be like if you had a recipe and you thought, oh, you know what, this would be really good if I added blank ingredient, and then you tested it out and it was yummy. That's structured imagination. You know that ingredient potentially goes really well with what you already have going on. Throw it together, and now you've got a new recipe that's even better.
Okay. And then creative imagination says
Yes.
all basic and new ideas are handed over to man. So, what I take by that is your imagination grows based on what you build with your knowledge. Does that make sense?
Yes. I think I took it a little bit differently. I took it more well because I've had this happen before. So if you've ever, I don't know, had a problem going on in the back of your mind and you're not really thinking about it, and all of a sudden, poof, there's an answer. And
Yeah.
it's not related to anything that you know. It's not related to anything that you've thought of before, but now you have this very specific answer. That's it's like he refers to it as pulling it out of the ether or using the infinite intelligence and stuff. I think that's more what he means there.
So it's just out there waiting for somebody to grab it.
Yeah, it's out there.
Somebody's mind to
You have
grab
to
it.
be in like the right state to be able to accept things like that too. You
It's
have
like
to have
when
it in your mind that you're looking for a solution and be open to what the universe is going to hand you for it.
It's like when people do peyote out here in the desert.
A
They're
little
just
bit,
waiting for the universe to give them this
Give
awesome
them some
idea.
kind of message. Yeah.
Never done peyote.
No, me
Never done
neither.
peyote.
Or shrooms, kind of the same thing.
So he goes on to say, one of the quotes is, ideas are the beginning points of all fortunes.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because if somebody had already thought about it, they would already have nailed it and been rich, right?
Yeah.
Like if somebody had already thought about our program, I would actually have somebody to follow instead of trying to create this stuff from scratch.
From start. That's another example with the Coke. The doctor knew it was a good idea, but he didn't know what to do with it. So he gave someone else the opportunity to take that idea and run with it. So you don't even necessarily have to have the idea. You have to be open to recognizing it when it's placed in front of you. If you have a friend or something that's got a really good product and they don't know how to push, and you jump in and partner up. There's no reason why it has to be 100% you coming up with everything, knowing all the stuff. Like he kept mentioning Carnegie again in this, saying Carnegie didn't even know anything about steel when he took over the industry. He learned, he surrounded himself with other people that were experts in whatever they were doing with steel and managed to blow it up.
I wonder what the mindset was of like Steve Wozniak. You know, after growing up all of his life, all of our lives, most of our lives, with a phone with a cord on it, because you need telephone lines to be able to speak to people, and saying, no, you don't.
Yeah.
I've got a way that we can do it without it.
Yeah.
It's called a cell phone.
Wasn't he inspired by car phones when they started having the fancier cars? Because it was a corded phone, but it was in your car. And I feel like that initiated for him where he was like, why do we even need a cord?
Yeah, that's true.
I
That's
remember
very
cordless phones were huge before they turned into, the cells that you take everywhere with you.
Everywhere. Like, I wish I could just have a day where I don't have it, but my life revolves around the use of technology and new technology every single day, that I have to have it. I just wish I could get away from the dopamine drip every time there's an alert that somebody liked my post or responded to my post, or because as soon as I hear, that's one of the reasons why you very rarely, the only time you'll hear my phone is the morning alarm. Other than that, I don't have it on, because like if I did and all I heard was all the tweets and all the messages with all the accounts that I have, like,
it would get a little overwhelming. Yeah. I do miss being able to, like, if you leave for the day, all of that just stayed in your house and you'd have peace for the day. Whatever it was you're doing. I mean, you might be grocery shopping and running errands, but you get to do that, and then you'd come back and have to deal with whatever
nobody was
waiting on your answering machine.
Nobody was bothering you. Right?
Yeah.
Now, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, they send you a text or they send you a message, and they get pissed if you don't answer them within 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Like the expectation of instantaneous response. That's toxic, you guys. We have to stop doing that. That's okay.
That's one of the reasons why I turned it off. And I just saw, damn it, that I have 2 Facebook messages that I'm going to turn my phone over on. Like, oh, God. But all of these ideas, to bring it back around,
yes,
started in somebody's imagination. right?
Yep. They were able to see how it should work, and they manifested it.
I mean, that's pretty much it's a short chapter, so we're not going to go long today. But I mean, if you can't envision the possibilities of growing like exponentially with with what you currently have in your mind, like that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, why ignore, how do I say this without pissing people off? Why settle for having a life that you're not overly satisfied with
Yeah.
just because you can't see it in your mind because you refuse to allow your imagination to kind of take over for a little bit? I remember I had back in the day when I was driving Uber, I asked this guy, he was working at like a mid-level position for one of the companies downtown. And I said, are you working towards management? Or he said, no, I'm pretty good where I'm at.
Yeah.
I was like, how long have you been at that position? Oh, 5 years. You don't see yourself moving up? You can't imagine yourself? Oh, I don't believe in imagination.
Right.
Well, that's why you've been stuck in the same job with the same pay for 5 years.
Yeah. Some people don't have any ambition or motivation, or they just want to make it through. And that's where midlife crises come from. I know that sounded like an odd segue, but I'm being very serious. You had a certain point in your life when you're like, this is it. I've done 10, 15 years of this job. I've gotten nowhere. My pay's barely increased. I'm not happy where I'm working.
I want something new, and I'm going to go buy a red Corvette. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's entirely preventable if you allow yourself to imagine better things. That's the start of it, right? You got to picture things being better, whatever that means to you. Whatever it means to you personally. Maybe it's a nicer car, like you mentioned the red Corvette. Maybe it's a bigger house. Maybe it's a better position or doing something that you find more interesting than what you're currently doing. Whatever it is, you have to be able to
open up your
imagine
imagination. Yeah.
So that it can grow into that burning desire he's always talking about. And then you can make it happen. How are you going to make it happen if you can't picture it?
Right. And writing out your definiteness of purpose. I've been very proud of both of us. We've both been reading our statements in the morning and the evening. As we push towards, I'm making some pretty big changes.
Yeah.
On our part, because I use my imagination. The 3-day challenge didn't go over the way that I wanted it to. Yeah. But like after talking to Russell and after talking to a bunch of people within our inner circle, like Russell didn't actually have any success until his 7th attempt.
Yeah.
At the right sales formula, the right sales funnel. And most people quit because their first one didn't work. That's not me. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my 3-day challenge. And I mean, because I understand that time is the most valuable asset that we have, right? I'm taking my 3 days and I'm going to make it easier for you to learn by putting it into a webinar of 90 minutes or less. Yeah. I'm going to try to make it less, but I want to make sure that I give you the value. I'm not just going to make it less to make it less. If it doesn't carry the value that I don't believe I'm capable of giving, then it will be 90 minutes at least. But that's coming out before the end of the week. That's the goal to sign up for. Keep an eye on the website, the main website, coachjeffdemers.com. Any final thoughts on this chapter before we conquer the 41-page chapter 7?
No, I mean, I think we covered it all. Use your imagination, folks.
Chapter 7's big. Chapter 7's big, but we're still going to talk about it next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time today. Make sure you put any comments or questions in the comments section. so that we know we can reach out and answer any questions that you have, or maybe give some advice, or maybe you can give some advice. We don't know everything. She
Yeah.
does. I don't. Um,
Don't forget to pick
but
up your copy. Were we able to get that up on the website? Think
oh,
and Grow Rich?
the Think and Grow Rich. I don't think I ever did.
Ah,
Let me get that out there. Matter of fact, I
okay.
think I can do. Russell Brunson's got a copy. I can
Yeah.
actually get a link to that. Get that out there.
Okay.
All right. That's it. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's warming up here in the valley, which is why I'm about to switch to shorts. And that'll be it. Take care.